chapter 16, verse 12 and 13. Now, 2 Chronicles in the Old Testament is right behind 1 Chronicles. That's right, Sister Jennifer. That's right. That's where it's at. It's been in that Bible that way for a long time. Amen. And it won't change. Amen. 2 Chronicles. Now, there's a 1 Chronicles, there's a 2 Chronicles. Now, if you go find 1 Kings and 2 Kings, you ain't going to be too far from 1 Chronicles and 2 Chronicles. Amen. When you got to say amen, if you're still looking, say, wait a minute. All right, everybody got it? You'll find these words. And Asa, in the 39th year of his reign, was diseased in his feet, until his disease was exceeding great. Yet in his disease he sought not to the Lord, but to the physicians. And Asa slept with his fathers, and died in the 41st year of his reign. You may be seated. I want to talk on this called 6 feet treated by the wrong doctor. Amen. 6 feet treated by the wrong doctor. Amen. 6 feet treated by the wrong doctor. How do you find a good doctor when you're sick? Some look in the yellow pages for a particular type of doctor and just pick a name. Others select a physician based on what they heard from somebody else. There are few who take the trouble and time to check out the credentials of the prospective physician, including checking the Better Business Bureau, the medical organization. Nobody really checks that stuff. However, the overwhelming majority of people select the treatment for their illness and their doctors on the testimony of friends. Don't you know it's dangerous to take the testimony of a friend when it comes to selecting a doctor? Selecting a doctor based on hearsay can be very dangerous. A story was told about a country rabbit that became sick. This rabbit had always outwitted the wolves, the bears, and other creatures that laid traps for him. One day, as he sat in his rabbit hole, he heard voices. The voices were talking about a special brew that always helped them feel better whenever they were sick. The rabbit listened closely. The two critters seemed to be sold on this special brew. He heard them say that the secret place they get the brew was through a hole at the bottom of a tree trunk. The rabbit thought his luck was changing. This brew they talked about seemed to help other creatures. So he decided to get some himself. Amen. So when he slipped to the tree trunk, he climbed in a dark hole until he saw 2 doors marked foxes, wolves, bear cubs. And then he seen one saying rabbits and groundhogs. So he entered the one labeled rabbits and groundhogs and proceeded down another long hall until he got to the end. As he hopped down the hall, he saw a row of baskets with signs above each that read, "Take one." In one basket, Brother King, there were onions. In another, there were potato wedges and assorted peppers. And as he hopped along with an armful of items, he suddenly came to a drop-off and fell into a long, winding tunnel that was about to end up in a huge pot of hot water. And as the potatoes, the onions, and peppers fell into the pot, the rabbit heard the 2 voices he heard outside his door. They were laughing and yelling. were the disguised voices of Mr. and Mrs. Fox. When we feel sick, there is nothing that can make us feel better than fresh rabbit soup. And realizing that he'd been tricked, the rabbit jumped past the pot and found his way out to safety. And from that day forward, he decided whenever he was sick again to check out the doctor first. So before you and I wind up in somebody else's soup, we need to check the sources. And there are many today that are sick in body and in spirit. Oh yeah, but they turn constantly to quacks and rip-offs that literally have them for months. And as Christians, we have come to know that our God is a mighty good doctor. Oh yeah, we know this because we try him for ourselves. Is there anybody in here who can testify this morning that we know God is a good doctor? He is a mighty good doctor. Amen. Both for the body and the soul. And thank God that Dr. Jesus is always on the case. This text considers King Asa a good king who let his faith in God wither because of prosperity of his kingdom. Oh yeah, Asa was the king of Judah. He ruled for 40 years. Amen. And he was remembered for the most part as a good king. Amen. He tried to obey God. But generally Asa was described as a man who wanted to do what was right in the sight of God. And there's a whole lot of us, y'all really want to do right in the sight of God.